Welcome, welcome, welcome to Kickstarter Radio 102.4, and today we're looking at Black Rose Wars Rebirth. My goodness, if dreams could come true, they're coming true on Kickstarter, as we've been looking so much for this game to come out. And here's the 2.0. Oh my goodness, let Lipstick tell you all about what this incredible Kickstarter is all about. There's lots going on over on our sister channel, the PC Gaming Radio Show. We gotta check that out by the description up above, but we've recently done our best games we've played over the last 12 months, so check this out if you call yourself a gamer. Now let's go to the main feature of today. Alright peeps, I cannot be more thrilled to come back to my channel to check out this game, Black Rose Wars Rebirth. Oh my goodness me. Now, the first Black Rose Wars was a Kickstarter from, I think it's 3 years ago. I was on holiday and I missed the bloody thing, didn't I? And because I missed it, I missed news about it as well. So be damned, I contacted them, couldn't get a hold of it. It's actually out at retail now, but I really wanted the Kickstarter edition with all of its incredible content that it unlocked. Especially some of the great crossovers it did as well. Regardless, here's the Rebirth. It's a standalone box, but it is highly interchangeable with the base game if you have the base, so it's definitely worth pledging here because there's a lot of coolness here. For example, this guy here with the green smoke, having him levitating, he's actually an avatar. Now, what does an avatar mean? Well, you can now play Black Rose Wars as a solo game, and this avatar will work for the Black Rose and will be as strong as playing a hero around the table. In fact, the game's probably best played at 4, but if you're playing at 2, you can actually use an avatar as a third person around the table and have him as an NPC. He's actually got AI that changes through the moon, so as the moon phases, so as it goes through the game, he will change his strategies also, and they can summon. They can actually summon minions and things like that, which in this is called evocations. Sorry, my voice. I'm still getting my voice back after COVID Delta hit me because it took my voice out, which is why I've had no content on the channel. And it's still getting back to strength, so if I sound a bit differently, it's because I'm recovering still. Anyhow. So yeah, even if you're playing, there's going to be like a 5th to 6th player expansion, which has been kind of teased at because it was in the original Black Rose on the Kickstarter. So let's say you've got 6 people coming around and you really want to include an avatar, you can do, because it will make the game a little bit more interesting. Or if one person doesn't show up because of, hey, real life things happen, you can just shove the avatar in to replace them, and it's going to be really cool. They've already unlocked different avatars, which also means that if you're playing solo, you can play different games, and they said they've not technically going to stop you playing against 2 AI avatars in solo mode, but it could be overwhelming due to how each one plays. So, man, you could even go for play against all of them, right? That would be intense, but let's see as we go down. Now, short campaign. With the trend to short campaigns is daily stretch goals, and these daily stretch goals have been they're put into a kind of social goal, which we'll see when we go down the page, but hugely successful. I'm one of the backers because I'm so pumped to actually get on this campaign because I loved learning about the first Black Rose Wars. I wish I could get my hand on the Kickstarter stuff, but here's a fantastic opportunity to come in because the game is almost 2.0 in what it's done. It's updated so many things, brought so many things in, including this fantastic avatar system that they have done. Now, you're sometime after the what the original events in the Black Rose, they destroyed the place in the first one, but you're coming back to repair it, restore it as the lodge is, and as the lodge is going to get repaired, that's why it's pulling in these incredible mages from around the world to actually get the power of the Black Rose. So this is really exciting. So yeah, 1 to 4, possibly going to be 1 to 6 with an expansion that's been planned, and the 90 minutes here is probably the 2-player mode if they both know what they're doing. It's more like a 3-hour teach. Especially if you're playing 4 players, it's going to be longer. The box is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? It's going to be a big one too. They've got a storage solution if you check out the Kickstarter unboxings of it, so it's all looking very cool. They have this early bird, which you probably have missed by the time this video goes out, but you can get it as a €10 add-on if you want the extra avatar. There's avatars already going to be coming with the base. Some people are complaining that the base is fairly expensive. It is in euros, and if you compare that to dollars, it could be up at around 150. So yeah. Now, so these are the mages. They call them the Magisters, and they're actually fairly cool. We know a bit about Graminga. She goes around, she's actually quite fast because when she casts a spell she can move, so she's well equipped for doing quests in the lodge, and she's good at putting hexes on people, so she's not pure damage, she's more dotting people damage over time. And so that's what she's kind of focused in. She prefers like the hex school of magic, obviously, and a bit of the alchemy, I think, and they're all asynchronous anyway, and probably play in an interesting playstyle each, because some favour different spell decks because their own base spells may combine with them to do combos and things like this. Alright, so what, you're basically a super mage in the lodge. You're going around trying to knock out the other mages. That's the plan. You can pick up quests to do on the map. You can even there's even events going on, and the Black Rose will be doing stuff, especially if you put the avatar in play. And to be frank, I don't think I'll play this game without putting an avatar in play, because it's a fascinating thing to be playing within the game. You're also going to be getting cards from the different schools as you go through the game, so you're getting stronger. That's your deck building, and you have to kind of program or plan your spells. It's like you're preparing these spells. You have a quick spell, and yeah, you can basically fire these off in combat to take each other out. You don't actually die if you get nuked. You just respawn and come back. Alright, but obviously if you get the final kill on someone, you're going to get bonuses. If you completely take them out all on your own, you'll get bonuses. And there's like loads of little bonuses depending on how well you're playing in the game. And it certainly is PvE. It is not co-op, although there is hintings of some co-op, possibly going to be team-based. So it's 2v2 or 2v2v2, maybe? Yeah, and there's some really cool. Now, it says it's part of the Nova Ateus Chronicles, which is really cool, because this is the lodge in the world of Nova Ateus, and the Renaissance game that they last kickstarted is also going to be playing out in this world. There is some crossover stuff in that. It's on late pledge at the minute, Nova Ateus Renaissance. It's actually on my wish list to get if we get a quiet time on Kickstarter, but we're not getting a quiet time on Kickstarter, are we? Quiet time on Kickstarter for me is going to be April next year, because it's just going to be insane. I'm actually going to be doing a video on some upcoming Kickstarters, because there's quite a lot of channels doing my most expected Kickstarters that are coming up, and none of them are hitting what I'm expecting to be coming up, frankly. So I think my list will be unique. So look out for that on the channel. Of course, you can subscribe, hit the bell and all that jazz. And if you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. Why not? Yeah, it does look spectacular, that game. And it does come with some juicy Black Rose Wars things that you can play on this edition. So yeah, super cool. Now, the Kickstarter unboxings are fairly interesting because they've got like holes for the mages, and there's like 6 holes for them, maybe for 6 players. And even if it's going to 6 players, you're going to need more mages, aren't you? So anyhow, these are the evocations that you can actually spawn in. Certain spell decks are going to give you the power to do this, so you'll have to get these from the spell decks themselves. Lovely art there on the succubus with snarling. I like the fact that they have these pictures of the minis like rotated around so you can see the back of them. So people in the chats, in the comments, have been asking about, are we going to get alternate scopes? You know, are they going to change the way these are looking? And they said it's far easier just to replace the scope with a different one than change the actual look of this guy. But we don't know, that could be like a big stretch goal down beyond. It depends how far this game goes regarding its stretch goals, but yeah, and these Umbra ones are kind of interesting. They have this arc moon, so they'll actually get attached to a mage once cast and do some horrible stuff. Got these beautiful rings that you can that are kind of in production at the minute. And these are a big upgrade from the base game because you had these like tiny little roses that you were putting in the bases, and they were like really awkward, annoying, fiddly. And here, this is a better solution. Yeah, so there is some kind of area control here as you're going into rooms and putting your dominance in there. That's where these cubes are going, and when it completely fills up, you'll get some bonus achievement points. This is new, that these tiles have achievement points on the actual card here. You can see here all the tiles, it's green everywhere because it's been destroyed and all the greenery is taken over. And once all these cubes are in, it will be flipped over and this area will be restored. And it will have an ability there that you can use, and that ability will persist through the game, which is different than the base game, because in the base game it was used once, here it will persist. All good. The cells is where you're going to start, where you're going to respawn. Boards are different from the original, partly because you have this mini deck in the middle here. So I think it's when you complete a quest, you put the quest on the Black Rose, and as you do more quests, the Black Rose is getting stronger as well. Something like this. It's better to watch the playthroughs to get a full understanding of all these boards and things. Also, this event track here, the time track, this is now adaptable, so you can make a shorter game or a longer game if you wish. It goes to 35, the original went to 30, and the moon phases you can make them come earlier or even later if you want to extend the game. They're not using these cubes as you've seen here. They have some lovely miniatures for the moon phases which are just delicious. I don't know why we're not seeing that here in the art, because the unboxings have already unveiled it, so this is kind of a really old picture. Now the Mage Boards look different as well. I think on the base you basically had the mage printed on these, but this is a much more elegant situation where you're just putting the card inside this here, because you can just slot more mages in and you can choose which colour you want, as colours not tied to each mage, which is nice. New school of magics are coming in. One is technomancy, and in fact they're all new spells, I believe, coming in. We've got 6 forgotten spells, which are kind of like uber spells, and they each have their own reference card. This is going to be unique because you can see at a glance what kind of spells are in the deck, and there is like a table to the right of each spell showing you its use, what that spell is good at. So you can really get a grasp of the deck, but even if you don't know it, you just pick this up and have a look and see what spells are in there that you might get from there. But it's random out of the deck anyway, isn't it? So it's just a quick way of learning what each deck's going to have in it. Each mage does have their own custom spells that they're starting with, and they are dual. They've got 2 sides on one side, if you like. You can flip them. It was funny because on some of the playthroughs, people were complaining about these, even from the base game, where you had to turn the card over, and that's because they were flipping them over vertically. You just have to flip them over horizontally and it stays the same way. I don't understand the trying to remember which side it was on. Anyway. Some new stuff then is the Jinx cards and the upgrade deck, where you're going to be upgrading your evocations on that. And of course, new evocations as well. There's some new event deck as well. If you're coming in from the base, you might want to try this deck out. And there's more quests too. These have all been kind of updated as well, and the explanation of things has become a lot clearer. They have, since the first game, gone through lots of editors and English translators and things like this, because the game's getting made in Rome, Italy. So there's been a pass on all the text and all that good stuff. So we're getting basically a more refined version of Black Rose Wars, and it's that's why I say it's more closer to a 2.0, 2.0 that they're talking about, but they don't actually want to say that because you can bring all this into the original. Yep, the actual spell cards look better as well because they have the icons in the corners showing you what spell deck there is. In the original game, you had to just go off the colour, and you needed to know what that colour spell deck was. Whereas here, it's fairly easy. But yeah, you're going to be firing nukes at each other. This is the main thing you're going to be doing in the game, is attacking the mages. Super cool. There is going to be these evocations knocking around though that are going to make things difficult, and your avatar is also going to be, getting into the mix as well. This is interesting because become the new Great Magister would be interesting if you actually won the game, but you won the race of the game, and when you got there at the end, you became so powerful you just had to kill everybody, and the respawn of each character would be gone. That would be kind of a better ending for me, because it's less of a Euro game then, and it's more of I get the powerful spells to just kill everybody. And potentially, even when you come the Great Magister, it could then turn into a co-op where they all just fight you. That sounds super cool at the end anyway, but as far as we know, it's just going to go to the end as it would in the first one. Now, stretch goals. Irene. She's returned to the lodge. She's basically travelling around the lodge, and you get to say, does she want to go east, west, north? What is she going to do? Does she go in left or right? People have been voting for her to move in certain directions, and the first room she went in, we unlocked a new mage, Bella here, this youngish girl. And she looks a little bit less evil, and I like this concept that's coming into this, because the original was like every mage is evil, but we're potentially getting some maybe light versus evil here. I do like the way it's going. The box got Spot UV looking sexy. We got a new avatar, Odin. You can see Odin has command cards that change during the moon phases. A very big mini as well. Cassandra, a new mage that come in, somewhat druidic. She's a fae, is her race, but another potential less evil because she's with nature, and yeah, you might say that she's not evil because she is kind of still got this kind of greenish look. If she was more evil, you'd see twisting thorns and all sorts of rotting wood around her or something, but she's looking fairly good in this way, so I might regard her as also being a light character. The Sphinx, this is going to be an evocation spell. Now it's going to be a forgotten spell. They are the mega spells in the game. So the Sphinx, if you launch this beast out, she's going to be an absolute monster on the thing. Oracle School is a new school of magic, and it specifically goes with Cassandra here, so she has her own potential preferred school of magic to collect. Love these new colours. Now Fenrir here. Fenrir is actually going to be an evocation that is used by Odin. So you're not going to be able to control Fenrir's per se. It's Odin's pet that he's going to be bringing out if you annoy him. That's the kind of the mechanic I've gathered off the latest Q&A live stream they did on their Facebook page, which is fascinating to go to. If you go to their Facebook page and check out their interview, get more information there. Cormac, new mage here as well. This guy looks fairly neutral as well, doesn't he? He's certainly not looking as evil. He looks a bit kind of, I don't know, Wizard of the Grey or something. He's like really old, coming back to make sure the evil don't take over the lodge once it's been restored. We still don't know about the story of Cormac. If you want to know the story of Cassandra, she's up there in one of the updates. Life Bar Mini, this is great because it's replacing the cubes on your life bar. These are really cool, aren't they? And there's some people in the chat saying, can we order more of these? Because these can be used in other games that use cubes for life track. And it does sound fantastic to buy more of these to put in more games. I'm really for that add-on because this is really cool. Parse, this is what we're up to so far. And she's another avatar. They are another avatar. There's 3 of them. Yeah. Oh, they're not joined, are they? Are they joined? Is it 3 of them? Anyway, they. There was some confusion right when the stretch goals were coming in. They said that's a bit of a jump as a stretch goal. So when they stretch them out into little stretch goals like this, people are complaining that they're little stretch goals. You just can't win one way or the other, can you? Of course, you're going to need all these stretch goals here to get the 2nd and 3rd moon phase for this avatar. It's coming anyway. Even if the game didn't stretch to 940k, they'd still unlock it. This is just to be fun. This is to make the stretch not feel massive because I want to say Parsi was 850, and if the next one was 1 million, you would have said that's a bit of a stretch. But that's the point at the minute of these stretches, because they do have daily unlocks, remember. We're getting something daily. So, yeah. Be interested to see what the 1 million is. There's been no talk of an actual player sheet with like a cheat sheet to actually explain the order of the turns and things like this, because lots of reviewers of the original Black Rose Wars said they needed to print one out because it's such a bear to teach, and having a player aid is a godsend to have. And so hopefully we'll get mention of that. There's a lot going on this Kickstarter. There's so much happening around all the new things that are coming in with this game. So it's kind of going to be a rich It's going to be a richness of events that are coming out of the updates throughout the 15 days. The playmat here is going to be a new art on it. If you have the original playmat from the original Black Rose Wars, they are basically the same, but this playmat will have new art on it, so it will be a Rebirth version of the playmat. But for example, if you watch the YouTube Q&A that happened today of recording this video, they actually were using the Black Rose original Kickstarter playmat to playtest Rebirth, because this playmat's not finished yet, is it? The design's not finished. These bowls are supposed to be absolutely fantastic, and a lot of people have said they're using them in other games as well. You get 6 here for 6 people, perhaps. And yeah, these bowls are pretty hard to get unless you go to a convention, and so these are kind of you might want to get these. The sleeves are supposed to cover the game. They're covering all the spells. There's a tournament sleeve here. They said they're going to mention this in the updates, but essentially there's going to be Black Rose Wars tournaments coming up where you select 50 spell deck from all of the spells in the game to then go and play in the tournaments, and you can use these tournament sleeves to sleeve your 50 deck special cards. So that's kind of what that is. There'll be more about that if you're interested in the updates coming out during the campaign, so look out for that. Tons of reviews. There's the Radho Final Thoughts is a good one. It's right at the bottom, I don't know, it's the best one. The On Table. You have to go right to the bottom to get the English one. The On Table here does an unboxing and tells you the differences between the first version and the Rebirth version. They're fantastic, and the On Table is, for me, the best presenter of previews. If you just watch the On Table stuff, her team is fantastic at getting these pictures done. So yeah, definitely thumb up the videos when you watch them. Super cool. All right. Yeah, they've learned their lessons with minis. They should be a lot better quality as well. You'll see it on the playthroughs. Look at the painting on this one. On the knight, so spectacular. What a cloak. That's a painting. Fantastic artwork there on these paints. Just stunning. I like these totems, but I think the totems should be a bit more colourful, right? I mean, this is just one person's interpretation of them, and if you're painting them yourself, you can do whatever you want, but they should be more tiki bar for me. Pina colada. Bo. Yeah, the team has grown now to a whopping 15. It mentions there is an external team. They've been doing collaborations with external artists and stuff like that. Some USA people complaining about the shipping because it's translating to about $40. But yeah, it's not just shipping, it's handling as well. Yeah, it's an absolute mess, isn't it, shipping? I mean, look at Alaska there, 100 euros, that's like $130 to get it to Alaska. That makes me feel better about paying the same to Mexico, whatever the Mexican one is. I know the Nova Aveus Resistance is about $90 to Mexico, so I'm assuming it's going to be the same to here. But yeah, you can actually get in here at $1. You've got to come in here on a pledge, and the $1 will be seen as a tip. That's partly because they want to have the biggest, they want to have a really big Kickstarter with all the unlocks. That's what they want to do here. There will be late pledge, but late pledge prices will be more expensive. Nova Ateus Renaissance, there we go. That's the one I'm probably going to late pledge. Yeah. Probably. I'm almost 99%. My next late pledge game will be Nova Ateus Renaissance. Yes. Especially with the Black Rose content in it, which is not little, it's big. It's like a massive mini, another big mini, and another thing. It's like, oh. In the same world as well. Really, really cool. Alright. Now, I will be doing video on Flamecraft. Look out for that this week because it's so incredibly special, that Kickstarter. It really is. Let's jump to the top. Now, Black Rose Wars, when it came out on Kickstarter, it blew up into one heck of a giant Kickstarter with a ton and a boatload of content. Oh my god. One of the biggest complaints about the original campaign was that all the extended content that was unlocked came in a big brown box with a sleeve that couldn't fit it. Called the Sabot box. Everyone's saying, let's hope the Sabot box is actually got art on it this time. And, you know, this team have been known to charge shipping, double dip on the shipping with their past products. But hopefully they've learned this time, got some actual distribution partners out there. I mean, there's Lucky Duck Gaming, for example, that are now taking up worldwide shipping for Kickstarters, which is, you know, we have to applaud Lucky Duck Gaming for doing that because it's helping other companies bring their shipping down. Even if it's costing them a service, it is helping them, and it's helping games get here to Mexico without paying ridiculous prices like $300 shipping to Mexico, which is just insane, Simon. And yeah. I definitely think this is going to be one heck of a game to come at if you come here on the final 48 hours, because each update is going to be very rich with content that you're going to need to absorb. So I might come back and do a final thoughts on Rebirth, which will kind of round up all of the interesting stuff that this game is doing, which is kind of what's happening with the competitive mode, what's really happening with the avatars and the solo mode, what's really happening with more schools of magic. Are we getting new mages coming in here? You know, all these kind of interesting things that's going to develop on it. And they have said also there's going to be an all-in add-on. It's not going to be a pledge, it's going to be an add-on, and I don't know what they're going to throw into that, but it's possibly expansions that they might throw out, or a 5 to 6 expansion mode or something like this. But it's going to be chocker full, this campaign. It's going to be very rich with information. We are let's just, at the minute it's around 36 hours since the campaign launched, and we've already got over 1,000 comments, so that's like very interesting in here. Some people asking for stuff, some people asking questions, all this stuff. Dev teams are in here answering questions as well, and people keep saying, where's the update, where's the update? It's not even been 24 hours yet and you want another update, what's going on? So there's like eager beavers. Absolutely. This is like loads happening here and loads of questions that still need answering. The FAQ is becoming longer as well. It's good to see the dev pulling something out of the comments and putting it in the FAQ. So there's good things happening here. And bottom line is, peeps, you're just going to have to soak up the shipping costs. And when I came to Mexico, oh my god, the shipping costs in Mexico are insanity. And once you get past the denial phase of not backing stuff with high shipping, you eventually just accept you've got to pay it if you want to get these Kickstarter exclusive games, right? So you're just gonna have to brace yourself, cut your teeth, and no, you gotta pay shipping. Last thing to say is they've said September 2022. That's the best estimate. Possibly could push into 2023. Hopefully shipping prices return back to normality by then. Bloody hell. And people talking about another, COVID, another evolution of that, and potentially COVID coming endemic, where it's here all the time, similar to the flu. So there's all these things that are still happening that are unknown that could happen in 2022. So fingers crossed all these predictions don't come to fruition and it returns to normalcy sooner rather than later and all that good stuff. But yeah, a fantastic mage game where you're building a grimoire, which is your book of spells, to be firing against your opponents, or you're going to have an avatar going around playing for the Black Rose, trying to defeat you and everybody else at the table. Sounds fantastic. New solo mode coming in here as well. New spell decks of interest. Mages that aren't as evil as the ones in Black Rose. Maybe light versus evil going on. That looks phenomenal. And the game looks like it's been getting tweaked and got some really cool stuff coming on here, and it's just one hell of a campaign, peeps. It's absolutely massive, and I think Black Rose Wars has started off the avalanche of Kickstarters that we're going to be getting over the next couple of months, and I'll be giving my video of my most upcoming Kickstarters that we're going to see in the next few months, so look out for that on the channel. Well, there you go. Black Rose Wars Rebirth. Do I recommend it? Absolutely. Some people still might be on the fence, saying it's too expensive. Well, there is going to be another 13 days worth of content thrown on here, and each daily seems to be big. The first daily was an avatar. The second daily was a mage. So they're starting strong, the dailies. Let's see where they go. And I'm sure the content will be fair and actually value by the end of the campaign. That's what I believe in. So yeah, I am going to come back with final thoughts of Rebirth because I'm following this very closely because it's something I've been eagerly awaiting for at least a couple of years. And yes, cannot wait to get this to the table whenever it drops in here in Mexico. So yes, voice still getting stronger. We'll be doing more videos now, peeps, back in the studio and all that good stuff. So Black Rose Wars Rebirth, absolutely blown my socks off, and I can't wait to see all the information that comes out of the campaign. So thank you so much for watching. You've been listening to Kickstarter Radio 102.4. I'm the host, Lipstickpaddy. You take care, stay safe, and bye-bye for now.